The cul-de-sac at 23 Willowbrook Lane was the kind of place where nothing ever happened. Lawns were trimmed to submission, cars gleamed in driveways like polished teeth, and the only sound after 9 p.m. was the hum of streetlights. Clara Morrow had moved there 6 months ago, seeking the quiet. The neighbors called her the nice girl in the gray house, polite but distant, the kind who collected her mail quickly and never lingered on porches. At 28, Clara was good at being alone. Or so she told herself. She worked from home as a medical transcriptionist, her days a blur of whispered diagnoses and the clatter of her keyboard. Nights were worse. The house creaked like a ship at sea, and the silence pressed against her ears until she'd crank up the TV just to drown it out. Sometimes she'd catch her reflection in the black living room window, a pale face floating in the glass, framed by dishwater blonde hair, and look away too fast. The first time she saw the balloon, she almost laughed. It was a Tuesday, the kind of overcast afternoon that smudged the sky into dusk by 4 p.m. Clara had taken out the recycling, her sneakers crunching gravel when she spotted it, a single red balloon tied to her mailbox. The ribbon was crisp, blood bright against the gray street. No note, no kids in sight. She'd untied it, let it go, watched it shrink into the clouds. A prank, she decided. Some bored teen. But then the laughter started, faint at first. A wet, gurgling chuckle that slithered through her bathroom vent while she brushed her teeth. She froze, toothpaste foaming down her chin, but the sound stopped. The next night, it came from the backyard. Clara had rushed to the window, heart jackhammering, but found only darkness and the skeletal sway of her oak tree. When she called the non-emergency police line, the officer sighed. "Kids these days love their Ring cameras, ma'am. You check yours?" She hadn't. The camera was a gift from her sister, still in its box. Clara installed it that night, fingers trembling as she balanced the ladder. The lens stared back at her, unblinking. For 3 days, nothing. Then, on Friday, the footage. It was 2:17 a.m. when the motion sensor flared. Clara rewound the recording, her coffee gone cold. There, a figure at the edge of her lawn, backlit by the moon. Too tall to be a child, too still. Its face was a porcelain white mask, cheeks rouged like rotten apples, mouth a lipless grin stretching ear to ear. One gloved hand held a bouquet of balloons. The other waved. Slowly, fingers curling like a spider's legs. Clara slammed her laptop shut. She didn't sleep. She drank. 2 glasses of Pinot, then 3, until the streetlights blurred into halos. At 3 a.m., she crept to the front window and peeled back the curtain. The street was empty, except for the tiny red shoe sitting on her welcome mat. It was a child's loafer, scuffed, one lace chewed through. Clara didn't touch it. She didn't scream. She just stood there, cold crawling up her spine, as the wind carried a new sound, a music box tune, warped and too slow, drifting from somewhere far away. By dawn, the shoe was gone. Clara didn't leave the house for 2 days. She ordered groceries online, drew every blind, and slept with a kitchen knife under her pillow. The clown didn't return, not that she could see, but the smell lingered, cotton candy and mildew seeping through the vents. On the 3rd day, she forced herself outside. The neighborhood was postcard perfect, sprinklers hissing, a mail truck idling at the curb. Mrs. Langley from across the street waved, her terrier yapping at a butterfly. Clara tried to smile. Normalcy, she told herself. That's all she needed. Then she saw the balloons. They hung in Mr. Haggerty's tree 3 doors down, a cluster of red orbs bobbing in the breeze. Mr. Haggerty, a widower who wore suspenders and yelled at squirrels, stood beneath them, staring up. Clara approached, her throat tight. "Those yours?" He turned slowly. His eyes were glassy, unfocused. "Not mine," he rasped. "Yours." The words slithered between them. Before Clara could speak, he shuffled inside, slamming the door. She stood there, sun drilling into her neck, until a pop made her jump. One of the balloons had burst, its shredded latex clinging to the branch like dead skin. That night, she Googled clown sightings Willowbrook. Nothing. Just next-door posts about missing cats and loud motorcycles. Then, buried in a local forum from 2009, a thread titled, "Red Balloon Bandit Strikes Again." Her cursor hovered. The link was dead. The laughter came back at 3 a.m. Clara jolted awake, sweat gluing her tank top to her back. This time, it wasn't outside. It was in the room, a wet, wheezing chuckle inches from her ear. She fumbled for the lamp, but the bulb blew with a ping, plunging her into darkness. Something brushed her ankle, cold, rubbery. She kicked, scrambled backward, and felt the knife clatter off the nightstand. "Who's there?" she screamed. Silence. Then, from the hallway, the squeak of oversized shoes. She didn't breathe, didn't blink. The digital clock flashed 3:03, casting a sickly red glow. Shadows pooled in the doorway, thickening, swelling, until... Honk. A single, discordant bike horn. Clara lunged for her phone, dialing 911 with shaking fingers. "There's someone in my house. A clown. I think he's..." The dispatcher's voice was calm. "Stay on the line, ma'am. Units are en route." She crouched in the closet, phone light aimed at the door, until sirens wailed outside. The cops found nothing. No footprints, no fingerprints. Just a single red balloon tucked behind her toilet, its ribbon tied in a perfect bow. "You been stressin', miss?" one officer asked, nodding at the empty wine bottles in her recycling. The next morning, Clara marched to Mr. Haggerty's house. His lawn was overgrown, dandelions punching through cracks in the driveway. She pounded on the door. "I know you've seen him too. Talk to me." No answer. She peered through the side window. The living room was a time capsule. Floral wallpaper, a tube TV, and balloons. Dozens of them, ceiling to floor, red and bloated. Mr. Haggerty sat in his recliner, staring at the wall. "Hey!" Clara rattled the doorknob. Locked. That's when she noticed the flies. A fat black swarm, buzzing against the kitchen window. She called the police again. They broke down the door. Mr. Haggerty hadn't just been sitting there. He'd been sewn to the recliner, crude stitches through his wrists and ankles, his mouth zipped shut with a coil of wire. The balloons, they realized too late, weren't filled with helium. They popped one. The smell was unforgettable. The coroner called it a homicide, but the cops called it a real head-scratcher. No forced entry, no DNA, just Mr. Haggerty, his recliner, and 31 balloons filled with human bile. The neighborhood buzzed. Porch cameras sold out at Best Buy. Clara's sister, Jen, begged her to come stay in the city. "It's not safe there." Clara almost caved. Then she found the photo. It was tucked in her mailbox, sepia-toned and sticky with candy apple residue. 5 children posed in front of Willowbrook Park, circa 1963. Their smiles were too wide, their eyes dead marbles. In the center stood a clown, same porcelain mask, same lipless grin, holding a red balloon. Scrawled on the back, "We missed you at the party." She recognized the park. 2 blocks east, all rusted swings and cracked sidewalks. The police had dismissed it as a prank, but Clara knew. The clown wanted her there. She went at midnight. The park was a graveyard of shadows. Clara's flashlight trembled over the jungle gym, its chains creaking in the wind. The photo burned in her pocket. Just look, she told herself. Then run. She found the spot where the children had stood. The grass was dead there, a perfect circle of blackened soil, and in the center, a fresh mound. Clara dug. Her nails tore. Her knees ached, but she didn't stop until the shovel clinked. Not metal, but glass, a mason jar, buried upright. Inside, floating in murky liquid, was a tiny hand. She gagged, stumbling back. The laughter erupted around her, guttural and gleeful. "You're late," whispered a voice like oil on water. The clown stepped from behind an oak tree, balloons in one hand, a rusted meat hook in the other. Up close, the mask wasn't porcelain. It was skin, stretched and stitched. His suit reeked of candy and decay. Clara ran. He let her. Her house felt different, warped. The air tasted metallic. Clara jammed a chair under the doorknob and grabbed her laptop. This time she found the thread. Red Balloon Bandit strikes again? 2009? User. Anonymous. My dad used to tell me about the Willowbrook 5, kids who vanished in the 60s. They say a clown lured them to a party in the woods. Police found their toys, but not their bodies. Every 30 years, someone tries to revive the game. Last time, in '93, a whole family drowned in their pool, balloons tied to their ankles. Be careful out there. Clara's phone dinged. Unknown number. Look behind you. She didn't want to. She had to. The TV flickered on, static hissing. Reflected in the screen, the clown stood in her doorway, head tilted, mask now peeled back to reveal a lipless rictus of yellowed teeth. His tongue was a slug, writhing as he spoke. "You're it, Clara." They found her at dawn. Neighbors called it in. The screaming, the honking horn, the pop, pop, pop of balloons. When police breached the house, they expected carnage. Instead, they found Clara smiling on the couch, a red balloon tied to her wrist. "I'm okay," she said, giggling. "We're all okay now." They didn't believe her until the reports rolled in. Mrs. Langley's terrier floating in the bird bath, a UPS driver folded into a mailbox, and Jen, Clara's sister, whose apartment security feed showed a figure in a skin mask leaving her building, holding 5 new balloons. As for Clara? Check your window, check the shadows, and if you smell cotton candy, don't bother running. We all float down here.